and welcome to my channel. Today I felt like doing something colorful yet wearable and also green because it fitted with my nails. Yep. So yeah, this is just what it turned into. So yeah, this is basically just going to be a nice chatty tutorial while also being disturbed in multiple ways by an annoying wasp right outside my window. Let's just get started. Now this time around I'm going to start off with applying my eye primer, just the, well, basically mattifying yet mostly see-through primer this time. And yeah, you can probably tell my eyebrows are already a bit darker. I actually tinted them yesterday and I always apply the tinting stuff really heavily. So I get a temporary eyebrow tattoo out of it as well. It's a really good thing for a lazy person basically. Because now I don't have to fill them in as heavily, so I just want to see how much filling in they actually need by the end of this eye look, because as usual I don't know where exactly this is going to end. So yeah, I just figured I'd do them last today instead of first. Now for eyeshadows I'm going to use a very old Urban Decay palette, but I'll just list as usual the names of the eyeshadows below the video, because I'm pretty sure most of these are also available as singles. But as always, if you don't have this palette, these colors in specific, like, well, the colors. Let me put it this way, you're gonna need the same colors, but you don't need the same eyeshadows, obviously. Like, you can use other brands, just, you know, use what you have. I'm going to be very original and start off with a transition shade. I'm just using a mixture of a dark shade and a paler shade, because, well, the pale shade is too pale to use as a transition. And the dark shade is, for me personally, too dark to use as a transition. There really is in this palette for me no perfect transition shade. So yeah, I'm just mixing them and applying them with the big fluffy blender just to make blending easier later on. By the way, every time I let this thing dry, it dries in a weird shape and it's like so annoying. Tomorrow is brush washing day again. I need to remind myself to actually let it dry in a fluffy state rather than a weird deformed state. I'm really sabotaging myself with this. Okay, just finished it with a different blending brush. Yeah, like, focus please. What the pale one looks like, that's what it's supposed to look like. The normal, like, flat top and all. The weird angle my usual regular blender has, that's not supposed to look like that. That's really not handy. So for today I'm just going to use my spare blender, I guess. But anyway, for the next step we don't need a big fluffy blender at all. We're going to use a smaller one, a more dense one, and a, well, a green shimmer eyeshadow. It's going to go all the way in the outer corner until about, let's say a little bit before half of the eyelid. And then just blending it out. And I gotta say, by the way, like, as usually with me and old palettes, makeup palettes, I always sort of assume they're less good than the newer ones because the newer ones are newer and then I don't use them anymore and then I grab them again and I use them and I'm like, wow, this was actually really good. What I'm trying to say is I'm actually really impressed by how nice the shimmer is, because sometimes when you blend out shimmer it just goes matte. And this actually stays nice and sort of metallic almost. Ergo, I should probably use Urban Decay eyeshadows more often. But yeah, anyway, just blend out the edges so it all goes nice and soft there. Then for the inner corner I'm going to go for a paler shade of green. And I'm basically applying that the same way, also going into the crease. I'm not going all the way into the inner corner. I want to do something paler there. I'm not sure what yet, as usual. So I'm just blending it a little bit inward so there's no harsh line, but I'm not covering the entire inner corner yet. And then, like the other shade, just blending it out. And obviously blend it together with the other shade of green, so it just sort of becomes, I don't know, almost like it's more of a shadow than like different eyeshadows, if you get what I mean. It becomes really nice metallic like this. Yeah, actually putting up quite high in the inner corners here, so it's just, I don't know, I just like it when it's high up there. I think it looks nice with my eye shape. Just decided for the inner corner I'm going to use Roadstripe. I'm naming that by name because it's a very weird color. It's white with a blue reflect. It almost looks like blacklight-ish stuff without actual blacklight. I don't know if you can tell on camera, but it's just a really cool color. Then with the same brush, I wiped it off obviously, I'm going to grab an even darker shade of green shimmer and apply that, well, almost in a winged eyeliner sort of form at first and then just dabbing it out carefully. Just because I want that outer corner to be a little bit darker there. There's a bug here and it's been there for days, and the annoying thing is I can hear it buzzing, but I don't see the actual bug, so I don't know if it's a fly or a wasp or what it is. And it's like right above my collection of flesh-eating plants, and for 3 days they haven't managed to catch it. It's annoying. Anyway, what I'm actually wanting to say, I really feel like I should do green eye looks more often. I don't know, like I always go for purples or pinks or blue, or I go for anything really but green, even though I do actually like green. And the whole reason I did a green eyeshadow look today, by the way, I have this whole box of nail polish that I need to try out to see if it still is not dried out completely. I grabbed green this time around, so I decided to just match my makeup with my nails instead of the other way around. But yeah, I do kind of dig it, like, I like green. I should use it more often. And by the way, if you have any like requests for like specific colored looks that you'd like me to do, then you can also ask as well. Because I'm very willing to try different colors that I don't usually go for. Then the boring bit, the brow bone highlight. I'm just using a matte off-white shade for that. And then just grabbing my different fluffy blender than usual, which has a hair in it for some reason that's not supposed to be there. And just blending it together. And like really the reason, like this one is slightly bit more firm and I prefer the very soft quality of the other one. I just really need to learn to like let it dry in a proper shape. Anyway, now we ended up at this point. I think I'm going to do an eyeliner first and then I'm going to do my face first and then... yeah. Eyeliner first, then I'll come back to you. Okay, onto the face. And yes, the eyeliner turned out a little bit more dramatic than I originally anticipated, because that's just how life goes sometimes. Also, I don't quite get how green eyeshadow makes my eyes look more green. Anyway, I like it. Anyway, yeah. For the contour, I want to do quite a sharp contour. I'm going to use a cream contour. So I'm using quite a firm brush to be able to blend it out. And basically, yeah. I always do this personally before I apply. I don't know if I'm going to do a lot of concealer or a full foundation actually. But I always do this beforehand simply because I know that otherwise it might be way too dark on me. So yeah, if you're by nature darker than I am, you might as well do this after foundation. Breathe between talking. Might as well do this after foundation, but for me personally, or like if you're as pale as me, it's just a bit safer to do this first, because then you can still use concealer and or foundation to easily fix it if it gets too dark. Yeah, just do my regular contour this way. And from this point onwards, I need to make sure that I don't need to blend eyeshadow anymore, because this eyeshadow brush that I use is a blender. Well, it is officially a blender, but it also happens to be my favorite cream nose contour brush. Yep. Okay, decision has been made. I'm only going to go for concealer. So I'm basically applying concealer in my natural skin color. Just where I get a little bit more redness, and then obviously blend it out. You could also use a sponge if you want, but, well, for one, I haven't actually dampened my sponge and I'm too lazy to do it. But also, I don't know, like me personally, I don't actually feel like a sponge and a brush makes a huge difference with most of my products. So yeah, I'm just using a brush. And then of course some under eye concealer as well. Now for powder, I'm just starting on the outer perimeters of my face with a powder foundation. And as all powder foundations, it's slightly too dark for me. Because of course. But yeah, this just gives my concealer underneath my eyes a little bit more time to dry. Because I do prefer it if there's a little bit more... I don't know, like I feel like it looks less good if I go in immediately with a translucent powder while it's still completely wet. So I prefer to let it just sink in for a little. Okay, I think when I was dry enough, I'm going in with the translucent powder and a smaller brush. And I'm also going to put this all over my T-zone. If you have dry skin, or basically maybe even with normal average skin, You could probably get away with just a powder foundation, but seeing as I'm about as oily as a, well, basically as a frying pan, I, yeah, prefer to use a little bit more powder just to make sure that I don't go completely over the top greasy. Okay, at this point we look very natural. Of course, it just depends on what you want. You can do a full on face if you want, but I don't know. I kind of like going natural lately. But anyway, well, for the face, not really for the eyes, but you get what I mean. Yeah, I'm applying a peachy blush, is what I was actually supposed to tell you. A matte one this time. Nice and natural. Okay, this is gonna be very shocking probably. I decided to not do anything with my eyebrows other than eyebrow plumper today. Because, well, like I said, I tinted them, like I literally tinted them yesterday evening. And I specifically applied a lot and left it on for, you know, a little bit longer than necessarily advisable. Just to get this whole eyebrow tattoo effect. And I feel with this sort of look, I just really don't need to do more with them. I feel like they look fine as they are now. So yeah, that's easy. Actually, on second thought, I'm using like 5 molecules of eyebrow pomade. Just to elongate this eyebrow a little bit, so they look like sisters and not like complete strangers to each other. Yeah. For highlighter, I'm using, you can see it on this cheek, I hope, a very natural glowy one. This is actually my favorite day-to-day highlighter. It's very shimmery, glowy, natural, warm. This is Glow Fusion in 01 by KIKO. It's a really, really nice shade. Yeah. Nice. Okay, revelation, the thing that I heard buzzing. It's not actually, this totally explains why my flesh-eating plants haven't managed to catch it yet. It's not indoors, it's outdoors, and it's trying to get in through the whole ventilation thing above the window. It can't, luckily. But why is it even trying? I'm confused. But it's a wasp, I don't like that, I want it to go away. But anyway, ignoring the wasp for now, setting spray and back to the eyes. Okay, while we finish up the eyeballs, I'll just let you know, I thought it just might be, I don't know if I told this story before actually, but I thought it might be fun to mention why I know that I'm not allergic to wasps. Yeah, I found out the hard way, I'm not allergic to wasps. At one point in time, I was a volunteer, like first an intern, then a volunteer at the petting zoo. Local petting zoo. And like 2 other volunteers and me one summer got the question from one of the people who just, you know, work there paid. Hey, can you try to remove that old bird's nest from that tree? You already feel it coming probably, yeah. So, we went to the bird's nest. We poked it with a stick and all and nothing came out. There was no life in it at all, like, as far as we could tell, at all. So, that was by the way the darkest shade of green, and now I'm going to use a mixture of the 2 paler shades of green to blend it out. Anyway, so we tucked it out. I don't even remember how we did it, but we like pulled it out of the tree, it fell down, and a complete swarm of wasps came out of it all of a sudden. Like, if one wasp would have come out when we poked it in the first place, we would have known and we would have left. But no, they didn't show themselves at all until we ruined the entire nest, and they all came out, and like one guy, one of us 3, he ran immediately, so the wasps immediately were like, it's him! And followed him, and like then, you know, the other one and me were like looking at each other for a moment like, okay, we're in trouble. And we then fled as well. Seriously though, luckily none of us 3 was allergic to wasps, especially the guy who ran off first. Because like, I think, yeah, I think my friend actually got like one of them I'm still friends with now, and anyway, point is, she got stung I think 2 or 3 times. I got stung once, but through my hair, so they barely even hurt. But he got stung like, seriously, the guy who ran off first got stung like 10 to 15 times, like really a lot. We're really lucky that especially he was not allergic to wasps. But yeah, that's how I know I'm not allergic to wasps. It's a fun story, really, a nice memory. Long story short, if someone asks you to remove a bird's nest from a tree, just don't. But anyway, yeah, well, back to the makeup. For the waterline, I'm just going to use a turquoise pencil first, because I want a pale turquoise, but I don't have a pale turquoise pencil. So I'm just using, this is the same brand, I don't know if it will make a difference if you do this with 2 different brands of eye pencils. But I'm going to use a pale nude shade to go over top of that. And just mix them together until I get a nice pale muted Sort of turquoise. Like this. Anyway, on to lashes. These are optional as always. You can just go for heaps of mascara if you want. I just felt like doing something. Like, you could also go for very heavy lashes. I felt more like going for the middle ground and go for natural-ish lashes. They're sort of long and like just, I don't know, they're nice. They're specifically the Soulmate by xoBeauty. Okay, one side is on, as you can hopefully tell. And like I said, it's very natural, but it's still, like, it's just a little bit more, I don't know, like hairy. That doesn't sound like a good thing somehow. I don't know, like it just amplifies the look a little bit. I like it, so yeah, just so you know the difference. Okay, just for the sake of being a little bit more efficient, I'm just going to apply lipstick while I wait for these lashes to dry enough that I can apply them. I'm just going to use a pinkish undertone nude, just because I feel like it fits with the look. It's a cream, it's shiny, I like it, so yeah. Okay, both lashes are on there now. So yeah, we're done, on to the show part. And here we have the final results. What I forgot to mention just now, you can also add mascara, obviously, after the lashes or before the lashes. I didn't because, again, I tinted both my eyebrows and my eyelashes, so they were already black, so I just don't feel like it's necessary. But, you know, obviously it is optional to add mascara too. For now, at any rate, I hope you enjoyed watching this video. If you did enjoy it, please click the like button, it would really help me out. And if you want to see more of my videos, you can always subscribe to my YouTube channel. I upload 3 times a week. And for now, thank you very much for watching this video. I hope you have a wonderful day and I hope to see you next time. Bye!